The Gaelic Athletic Association has always had Croke Park as its home. This was a sports organisation that was formed for nationalistic purposes. Therefore, it was important to them that Irish sports, Gaelic football and hurling, were played at Croke Park, but English sports, never.
Because back in 1920, there was a very sad day where people were murdered at Croke Park. So in the War of Independence, so the British government sent over some spies to try and find out who the ringleaders were with the IRA. The IRA found out about it, so there's 3 segments. In the morning, the IRA murdered spies. In the afternoon, the British government sent people into the stadium to try and find the culprits. Unfortunately, they shot innocent people. That evening, the British had 3 people that they thought were involved and murdered them in Dublin. So in the history of Irish-British relationships, that day wasn't one to celebrate. And the people in charge of GAA said, no one's ever going to come and play here other than GAA teams.
Lansdowne Road had been the centre of the Irish rugby team for good 40, 50 years beforehand. But it was an old stadium, it was a tumble-down stadium. So what to do? Well, the only thing you can do is redevelop Lansdowne Road and turn it into a modern stadium. But if you're going to do that, then there's nowhere in Dublin that can stage football matches, or more especially rugby union matches. And so therefore, it was important to persuade the Gaelic Athletic Association that rugby, which was a sport that regarded Ireland as one nation, that rugby was going to be allowed to be played at Croke Park. Because if it wasn't, then rugby wouldn't be played in Ireland at all until the new Lansdowne Road was built.
Fans were asked to come early and not to bring any item that might be seen as a weapon. There was a small Republican Sinn Féin demonstration. They're among those opposed to God Save the Queen and indeed rugby being played at Croke Park. That's mainly because of events...
History, all right? You learn a lot from history, don't you? You can't get rid of what happened there, all right? Was there any surprise? Of course not. It was going to happen, they were going to boo it, weren't they? But thankfully, common sense, decency, and it's a rugby crowd as well, isn't it? So, no, they didn't.
Now, in the match, Ireland had moved ahead in the first half hour because of a penalty duel. They were 9-3 up. O'Gara was their talisman. He was the fullback. He was also the man who racked up all the points. He was a brilliant and deadly kicker.
He took them to 3 Triple Crowns. He took them to a Grand Slam.
And then before half-time, they got 2 tries.
For Ireland, fantastic work. Dermot Dempsey finishes it. That's a try. That's over for, I think it's David Wallace.
Those 2 tries really were because they were physically dominant over the English. And then early in the second half, England came back. And England had a brilliant, pacey winger, Dave Strettle. And it was Strettle who got the try in the corner.
Strettle, did he get there? There may well have been a foot in touch.
And at that point in this match, it looked potentially like England could pull off a surprise result. They were still in touch. Well, Ireland then responded straight away. The try that really finished the game as a contest was scored by Shane Horgan. And this was a crossfield kick by O'Gara, and it was straight over to Horgan, and Horgan caught it, oddly enough, in a way that was reminiscent of Gaelic football.
Shane Horgan, it's a try! Oh, wonderful work! The 6'4" Horgan against Josh Lucy. The accuracy.
The quarterback found the winger. The fly half delivered what he needed to deliver, and it's a magnificent try.
And that really was the end of the game as a contest.
Croke Park rises to Ireland's first victory here, and it's the one that counts, especially at Croke Park. Ireland have given England a thumping. Ireland 43, England 13.